came up and formed. So we need to make it secure where they're not going to delete it after, okay, that was Billy's idea. It's Billy's time. No, we have to make sure it's longevity.
Yeah.
No.
Very good. The hope for that.
Okay, planning advice on development.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I believe Mr. Trump, who was kind enough to be here today, is most capable of talking really about the issue is preemption. But even with the state and the federal governments having the legal ability to bypass, to override anything that the county may want to say, you do have the force of moral persuasion in terms of an eventual charter amendment, making something like subsistence hunting and fishing a charter amendment, that we do have a charter right to have subsistence hunting and fishing. But maybe Mitch can realistically say that we are obviously done in by the issue of federal and state preemption. Mitch?
Actually, there is something said there. And I think Connie has it kind of right too. If you look at what the purpose of the commission is in your charter, it is a county charter. Being as a county charter, one of the issues that you want to look at is for new permitting, i.e. planning, if you're going to have setbacks, you're going to have fencing, if you're going to be building in a certain area, I think you want people to come through and say, is this going to affect native hunting gathering rights? Is it going to affect subsistence hunters? And so I think he's right on with what you need to look at. Other issues I think you need to look at because of the preemption issues is, you start here. Sometimes you got to start crawling before you can start running and jumping. A lot of what I've heard in here really needs to be done at a state level with a state game management advisory commission. Because if you think about it for a second, if you violate the hunting laws, who makes the hunting laws? It's the state. The rules that we're talking about and these rule committees, who's making the rules? The rules are being made by DLNR, a state entity. A lot of the things happening, the funding for the scientists are being protected by who? The federal government. But I think a lot of what you're saying needs to be taken up with the state. That doesn't mean you don't have something that this commission is going to actually look at. I think the commission does make or can make comments to the state on, when they go for their rulemaking. The commission should have a voice there. But the big thing that you guys have to look at really is in the planning department on how lands are used, how state lands, if we have state lands that we're using for something, or changing county lands for those, there should be a voice and say, you know what, how does this affect hunters? How does this affect Hawaiians who are doing their native gathering and fishing? So I think Kalani kind of hit it right on the head what you got to look at, but I think you should also look at trying to create something bigger.
Okay. Thank you. Mike?
I also agree.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. So do I.
This fishing game is an advisory commission. It's only going to give advice. It doesn't make law. It can recommend maybe more ordinance to back it up, but it doesn't make any law. It's just giving advice to the county council. I think it's a filtering process that never happened before, and it's got comments they can make. They're not going to stop nothing if they want to proceed. But I think that when we start arguing back and you start maybe going into a litigation situation, you've got more than just what you research. You've got a county ordinance that would back you up in your argument that never was there before.
Well,
and I think that the state that you're talking about had their opportunity since 1959, And the problem is what we come up to today is of their failure. So I would try to make more home rule. I'll try to make the island more strong and not really go and lobby at the state, but to lobby the state to respect these ordinances that we create.
And by the way, I almost 100% agree with you, that except for the part about lobbying to the state. I think the state has screwed this up, and so I agree with you. That's why we're here where we're at today. But the problem is, and there's talking about this preemption, state law preempts county law. And so we need to be saying, when the state's making their laws, hey, wait a second, this should be a home rule issue. And we should be maybe lobbying, and this is maybe what your commission may do, is lobby the state to say, you know what, we have traffic laws where the county makes traffic laws and the state makes traffic laws. Maybe we should be arguing at the state level, some of these hunting laws should be home rule, let the counties take them. Right now you can't do that because they're preempted. So, or if they're starting to make laws, this body should have a voice and say, you know what, that doesn't work for Hawaii, and as a commission, that's not going to work, and we oppose it. But you have to lobby in that way to do that.
So that's an issue.
That's an issue.
That's an issue, so we should talk about it.
And I guess the way that issue is can they lobby at the state level, state and federal level, for laws that protect, you know, hunters and fishermen on this island?
That's what I'm trying to say about the political game. I don't know if I should be saying this or not, but that's, in order to hire somebody, all of that expenses, go to the state capital, and do the lobby, and look for what reviews on the bill, and for the laws for hunters and fishermen, right? Wouldn't it be fit that you have a commission that does it already, out of your tax money?
The county does that already. You submit a bill to the county, and they'll have their lobbyists, which they do for their stuff, every year lobbying in legislature.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to get at, now, you have that information up front, okay, before it even goes wild. Now you have your private organizations that are, this is what it is. Hey, this is what it is. Now they can all and lobby that same thing. They can all say, you know, this is an amendment that we shouldn't be having. You know, or this is a constitution that we break. Their whole entity should be SRO. But the political game is we have the seat that shows, okay, we'll come to you, we will go to a review with the commission, or wherever you go. You know what I mean? That's the political game. We have one front row seat. We don't need to walk. We don't need to sit in a county building and review all that. Because it comes to you.
Correct.
It's going to come to you for review.
Actually, Kalani did hit the nail on the head, as Mitch correctly said, that if you look on the back of your hunting license, the condition is simply that it's something that's permitted to you. It's not something that you have a constitutional right to do. But again, the issue is, if you want to get something done, you have to do what Polikapu does. You have to do what Gil Silva formerly did as a politician. You have to work your tail off. There's no getting around the political process.
Stephen. Stephen.
Now, calling optimistic. Being on the statewide hunting advisory council in the first term and when we had one.
Speak louder, speak.
Coming from the state hunting commission when we had one, you can go as far as you want to go, so as long as you're within the parameters of the law. Okay, so number one, I think that the commissioners need to know, like, the laws. Okay, what they're fighting, what they're going to fight, and the laws pertaining to the issue. Okay, like if you're going, for example, okay, hunting, you need to know the Constitution. You need to know Title 13. You need to know your opponent's laws, like, okay, NARS, you need to know Chapter 195, you need to know Chapter 195D, you need to know all of the laws pertaining to the issue. And then, how far would you like to carry the issue? Would this commission, as it says over here, to advise county, state, and federal agencies? Okay, so could this commission advise the county, which would be, I guess, the mayor and the county council, to create legislation to repeal laws, amend laws that are coming from the county of Hawaii to the state of Hawaii? As Kalani is trying to say, you got the channel. Okay, you got the entity, now you got the channel. How many channels do you want to create? How many channels are there that this commission can use? And it was, as I said, and I think we talked about it earlier, and like on the county of Hawaii. Okay, this commission can either go to the planning commission or create some kind of ordinance that the planning and this hunting council have to work together for one, access, for two, adverse effects. Ordinances that can be created. I think in, being optimistic again, the doors for the people of this island at least is beginning to swing open. How much do you want the doors to swing open? How are the people going to look? Are they going to look with blinders? Okay, we only can do this, or open the doors. And hey, let's try. Even if maybe we cannot do it, but let's explore it. Let's try to take a step, see if anybody pushes us back. This is where this commission can go. This commission can even help form a statewide advisory commission. It's the foundation. You need one. And from the statewide commission, this is the only island that is not in operation. Every other island still has a state commission. We don't have one. So this is an entity. You see where this thing can go. I mean, if the people that go onto this commission, number one, as I said earlier, commit, this thing can go far. So on the issues, there are many issues, too many to write on all of the paper. I think what you should kind of like look at too is, okay, how much are the first commissioners, how far are they willing to go, what issues are they willing to attack. They should also be able to comment on any EISs or EAs that are done. It should be part of the commission's responsibility to address the issue, those type of issues, and then just go from there. But I don't think you can get all of the stuff that you want. I don't think you can get them all. It's too much.
One of the things I'd like to get addressed is the expansion of more critical habitat. What's happening both in the mountain and also in the ocean, they're expecting to include the monk seal, okay, and further, expand on the habitat of the green sea turtle, or the turtle population, yeah, as to whether or not they might take it off the threatened, endangered, or endangered species list. And then from where it goes, they're looking at expanding it outwards in the Hawaiian Islands and creating critical habitat. Right. Also introducing the monk seal from the northwestern fisheries section into the Hawaiian waters. So like what's going to be happening is that all of the areas that you used to go fishing, if you're going for lobster, and because the seal is dependent on that lobster for food, that might not be your choice anymore to harvest lobster. Right, yeah. And also other species of fish, okay, or fish, okay, aquatic life. Okay, so, and if you're down Popaico Mill and stuff like that, and you know how small that beach is, a lot of the beaches up and down Hamakua, yeah. And when monk seals they're resting over there, and they got the law pertaining to the monk seal, you cannot be within 500 feet distance away, near the monk seal because, it's a threat, okay? Then you cannot go fishing. So there goes your meal for the day.
So even if you have access now, that creature is there, you can't.
And now what they're doing also is encroaching into the inland. In other words, your streams that you used to go catch opai, okay, and maybe opo, and even go fish for prawns. is going to be a critical habitat for maybe the opie or the shell. What is the shell name? Yeah, okay, stuff like that. So they already eliminated by introducing this fungus, and it cannot be proven. Okay, the Tectococcus obatus, okay, that gall wasp that's going to destroy what they call the Hawai'i. And then we have already the rose apple that's not flourishing anymore, okay, that a lot of the opie and the opa was dependent on. And not only that, if you look at the extension of those, that rose apple, it goes all the way, you go down Kole Park before. You see all the inenui and all these other fishes feeding on that. Now you go down there, you're not going to see plenty inenui because there's no food coming down from the river. You see what I mean? So all these kind of things need to be addressed. The extension or expansion of critical habitat for endangered species that don't belong here in the first place. You know? They don't belong. And another thing, what I'd like to see addressed is the fact that if the monk seal is endangered of predators such as the shark, and not only that, what they claim is that a lot of umilo and uluas, huge uluas and stuff like that, they're taking the lobsters and stuff like that, which is dependent on, which is the seal is dependent on that for food. It gets so much fish and stuff like that, and there's so much of an abundance, then why don't we allow our youth some kind of excursion sponsored by the NOAA, spend some of that millions for both those kids up there and put them on a fishing trip and bring home some of that fish. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. And start harvesting some of these turtles, because when I go dive and stuff like that, they get coquilles on their body. They need to be harvested. Never used to be like this before.
Pat, where are you going, Pat? Your question was next.
Yeah. Am I on now?
Yeah.
You know,
Sorry.
we can stay all night. We will stay all night with it. It's great what I'm hearing and all that. Well, I understand you feel and I agree with Connie. We came here for the commission. Okay, now we have to ask all issues, what's going to happen, like, yes, this is all accountable and this is great. But what I believe in, and this is it. This is a political world, and let's not doubt it, let's not run away from it. I believe that whoever sits on that commission, number one, you're going to sacrifice a lot. That means family life. That means giving a lot to this. You're going to have to work with your elected officials, lobby, whether it's county level or state level. You got to do it. You got to take our politicians that elected to the state and work with the other elected officials from other islands to get what we want. We're not going to get nothing here by just talking this. We got to hit our politicians. They are the ones who be sitting here and trying to listen to what the people concern you. I don't see them. Election just got through. We got two in there, Malama Sam and Klein. This is not political. It's a truth Kahele guy down us. So we got to work with them. We got to forget about what they have. To get into the state, to get a state commission, or even this commission to go to get what the people want, we got to lobby. They have to lobby with other senators, elected officials from the island. Until such time we have our own island home rule. So it's a long road ahead of us. And all what we're talking about now is good. But let's take one step at a time before we get up there. Otherwise we don't fall. Thank you.
I'll take one more. We've got 15 minutes left, and then Pat's got to do his part.
I just want to ask one question. Anybody know when the Hawai'i tree came here?
1790s or 1820.
Okay, getting back, because, you know, I was expounding what you said about materials and habitats. They never did an EIS on what the effect was. Now they're not going to have the Hawai'i food, the native birds, taking the nectar from them.
I say one more thing, and it may seem like an inconvenience for a lot of us, but we have a hunter education program right before you get your hunting license. I think what would help the hunters and the nature conservative work together would be an education class on endangered species, where hunters would cut certain trees. You know what I'm saying? A little more education for us would help.
They do have one.
Not that I know that.
On the hunting plan.
Yeah, well, I never did go to the class.
You know, on the hunting class, all the hunting class, the fence, you know what a lot of those class are?